Buongiorno! So I'm starting an impromptu reading vlog. Last year during Thanksgiving Day week, I actually did a readathon, the Fall into Fantasy readathon. That was the first time I ever daily vlogged and daily uploaded ever on my channel. Even though I hated daily uploading so much, it was really fun vlogging that week. So I thought, why not vlog this week again? Well, I'm starting a little later. It's Wednesday and not, I believe I started vlogging on Monday that week, but it's once again Thanksgiving Day weekend and I'm doing a million things this weekend, but I also really want to get some reading done. Figured I would do an impromptu weekend reading vlog. So let's go over my TBR. So I have a pretty short TBR. I mean, it's a weekend reading vlog and I also have a million things going on this weekend because it's holidays. I'm gonna try to be realistic. The first book I really want to read is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. So I mentioned this in, I believe, my October TBR, and I really wanted to read this in October because of like fall vibes and pumpkins but unfortunately, it's a Rainbow Rowell book and I got it from the library and there was like a million holds. It didn't even come in till now. It's kind of sad that this is coming in now because I'm really not in a fall mood anymore. It's Thanksgiving and I'm honestly getting into a Christmas mood. So I'm a little sad that this came so late, but it's fine. I'm still really excited to read this, and it's a graphic novel, so it should be a super quick read. I'll probably do a time-lapse reading this. The second book I really want to read is Crier's War by Nina Varela. Look how shiny it is. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. This is literally like my most anticipated release of the year. It's a queer female fantasy and I'm loving it so far. I already started the audiobook a few days ago because I am meeting Nina in a few days and I'm so excited to go to her signing and meet her. Oh my god, I'm loving Criers War so far. It's amazing and it's just so unique. The characters is like an android and the other character is like a peasant who wants to like overthrow the government, and this is an enemies to lovers romance. And I'm really loving it so far. I think I can do it. And I have the audiobook, so that definitely should help. I'm gonna go read Pumpkinheads now, and I'll update you later. I just finished Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. Oh my god, I loved this. This was so adorable. Art style was beautiful. Story was just really cute and sweet. I really loved this. This was such a fun read and it was really quick. And oh my god, now I really want to go to a pumpkin patch even though it's like Christmas season. There was like an interview with the authors at the end and they talked about their process for making this book, and apparently like Faith actually came to visit Rainbow in Omaha and they went to a pumpkin patch together to create the pumpkin patch in this book. And oh my god, the pumpkin patch in this book sounds like such a cool place. They did say it's a very idealized version of a pumpkin patch. It's kind of like the Disneyland of pumpkin patches, so like I don't think that the pumpkin patch like this actually exists. This is kind of like a fantasy version of a pumpkin patch, but oh my god, can it please exist? App at the end, and it's just so cool. Like, look at this pumpkin patch. It's so cool. There's like a maze and there's like so many different like pumpkin food stands. You can also get kettle corn and there's like so many activities. Like there's a petting zoo, a s'mores pit, a pumpkin pie and chicken races, and there's so many things. Apple pies, there's a concert stand over here. Like, this is such a cool pumpkin patch. Like, I would so want to go to a place like this. I finished this book and now I'm gonna read more of Crier's War. On the audiobook, I've listened to 37% of the audiobook, so still pretty early on in the book, but I'm really loving it and I'm really excited to read more of Crier's War. few days and I haven't really been updating. Thanksgiving happened and Black Friday happened and I didn't really read much, but I had a pretty good weekend despite all. But I did finally finish Criers more. Oh my god, this book was incredible. Oh my god, absolutely exceptional. 5 out of 5 stars without a doubt. The writing is just amazing. It's so well written. I cannot believe this is a debut novel because this is so impressive and amazing, and wow, this is so amazing. I love that this walks the line between dystopian, fantasy, and sci-fi. There's dystopian elements to this book, also fantastical elements, and also sci-fi elements because, you know, Crier is an autome, which is basically an android. I love that this world just felt so unique and distinctive. Like, it definitely felt more fantasy than dystopian, and I was reading some reviews and some people were saying, like, why is this a fantasy book because it has more dystopian elements? I do feel like in terms of plot, it does have more dystopian elements, but the world itself just felt so fantasy. Like, I felt like I was reading a fairy tale sometimes too, the way it was written. I love the characters. It's a dual point of view. I would die for Crier. I love her. She kind of annoyed me sometimes, but I mean, I understand like where she's coming from, and like I totally understand her feelings and actions, but at the same time, I'm still like annoyed at her. If I have to wait a whole year for book 2, like the torture, it's gonna be so much. It's gonna be a torturous waiting for book 2. It's ended on like a somewhat cliffhanger, and I'm like, what? No, I need more. Like, how dare you just end it like that? Like, I need book 2 like now, but it's not gonna be out for another year, and now I want to cry. I wouldn't necessarily classify this as an enemies to lovers romance. One of the things that really drove me to this book is that it's an enemies to lovers female-female romance, but I wouldn't necessarily call it that because the thing is, only really one side of the relationship sees the other as an enemy. Like, Ayla has been wanting to kill Crier her whole life, and she hates Crier and hates her whole family, but Crier's never really known Ayla until like this book, and she never really had any resentment or hate towards Ayla, nor does she have any resentment or hate towards the humans, because Crier is the android and Ayla is a human. So I wouldn't necessarily call this enemies to lovers because only really one side of it really hates the other person. I definitely would classify this as a forbidden romance, which I love. I love that this has a forbidden romance between 2 female characters, but that it's not forbidden because they're queer. It's forbidden because Ayla is a human and Crier is an android or autome, and they're at war with each other. That's why it's forbidden, not because they're queer. I love that. I love the trope of forbidden romance so much. I love everything about this book. I think it might just be one of my favorite books of the year. It's so good. So good. I'm just squealing. Oh my god. And I love the acknowledgements. The acknowledgements were so long, but oh my god, they were so sweet. And I love Nina so much more now. I can't wait to meet her. I want to read you the last line, which just like, I wanted to cry. It was so sweet. She says, "To the queer readers for reading this book, but also just for existing. Some people will try to tell you your story doesn't matter. That is the biggest lie you will ever hear. Reader, everything you feel and experience and create is vital to this world. Never sit down, never shut up. Nobody else wants to write about us, so screw it. We do it ourselves. We will write ourselves into every genre. We will make it impossible for anyone to pretend we don't exist. Please tell your story. I'd love to read it. Thank you for reading mine." Oh my god, I want to cry again. It's so sweet. Also, she thanked Namjoon from BTS and her acknowledgements. Oh my god, she's a BTS ARMY stan. I love her even more now. Basically, I'm obsessed with this book and like I need book 2, and I'm so excited to meet Nina. Today is actually the day of the signing. Oh my god. I literally finished this like last night in a fever dream almost. It felt like I wanted more from the romance though. Like, not a whole lot of romance. Like, it's so much more than a romance book because it's not romance heavy. I was hoping it would be romance heavy, but it's really not. It's a slow burn romance. Slow burn romances are so annoying because I'm just like, just kiss already. But this one was done so well. I love the world though. I think one of the best things about this book is the world. It's just crafted so well. This world is not necessarily fair, but it's really cool. I also love how, here, let me show you. Throughout the book, there are like little excerpts from, oh, you can't really see it, but it's basically little excerpts from like history books or somebody's like journals. Added so much more to the story. So basically, instead of being told like the history or like the history of this world. You're basically being shown the history and you kind of have to piece it together as you go, which is really interesting. And then in the beginning, you're like reading about the history and you're like, oh, these like random people who I wonder who they are. But then later on, those people become more important. And so like nothing in this book is like a coincidence. Everything means something, and it's so good. Tackles the topic of what it means to be human with Crier. Like it observes the humans and is like, huh, why are they doing that? What is that? And I just love her. Not exactly human, but she definitely has human-like qualities throughout the book, and she's different from other Otome. Loved seeing her discover like humans and like all of their different traditions and customs and being like fascinated by them. Varn, here's this, oh my god, I love this. I'm not gonna say who, but basically one of the characters is like, I'm gonna travel to Varn and it's gonna be cool. And oh my god, are we gonna see Varn and the Kingdom of Varn in the next book? Oh my god, I'm so excited. Reviews for book 2, and somebody was like, Sapphic Summoning Circle, what do I need to do to get this arc? Honestly, same. If you can't tell, I love this book so much, and I probably should stop raving about this because it's already been 10 minutes. Read this book, it's amazing. It's one of the best books I've read this year, and without a doubt, 5 out of 5 stars. Maybe even more. Can I give this like 10,000 stars? Oh my god, it's so good. I love it so much. I love it. It might just be like one of my favorite books like ever. I kind of want to add this to my favorites like of ever list. I'm gonna go meet Nina today. I'm so excited. I definitely want to talk to her about BTS. I haven't really mentioned this on my channel, but I am ARMY. I've only really started listening to BTS like really recently, so I don't have a bias yet, so don't ask me who my bias is because I have no clue. I'm still figuring out everybody's names and who is who, but I do really like BTS, and it's really cool that Nina really likes BTS too, and she even thanked BTS in her acknowledgements. Like, that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to talk to her about BTS and her book. So excited. I'm gonna go finish getting ready for the signing. Vlogging the signing.
I wanted to write a story in which that happens. And so like originally it was kind of going to be a more, I guess, straightforward take on androids. Like it was going to be kind of like year 3000, like really futuristic kind of thing. But then I kind of started thinking more about it and realizing like my love for writing comes from my love for fairy tales and like kind of more on the fantasy side of sci-fi fantasy. So I wanted to figure out a way to make this android love story feel like a fairy tale and feel like it was from this sort of like timeless fairy tale era. So then I had to figure out a way to do that while also having robots in it, which is a little bit hard. But that's where the alchemy came from, because it's basically like imagining this world in which alchemists were actually able to create like the homunculus, except for they're not like tiny elf size, they're like big people. And from there, having like the world just sort of came naturally about like, you know, the androids have taken over, and of course the humans are going to rise up against them. And then like the rest of the magic, like with the sort of philosopher's stone type like heartstone thing, also came naturally from the alchemy, as well as like the 4 pillars. So once I got the alchemy thing figured out, then it was like, okay, I can make this make sense. They don't actually have to be like, you know, like Ex Machina sound robots. But I needed the character who started out like burning and learns to like cool down a little bit and use her rage for something like slightly more productive than just straight up murdering her love interest. Varela is like she's making points. Like she's absolutely rightfully angry, and Crier is the one who has to like really shake away her like stop being naive and learn what the world actually looks like. I was always like so interested in these like tiny scraps of humanity that always remain, like even if everything has been destroyed. Like all of the girls were named like Birdie and like Illura, and like all of the male love interests were like Grayson and Kiernan. And they had like these, you know, very Twilight-esque love stories that were, you know, just totally ripped off whatever I was reading at the time. So that's why I started out in. And then from there I kind of went more into poetry and short stories, and as a result I got super like abstract, and so I would be really, really good at writing atmospheric things with absolutely no plot and a lot of character, but nothing at all happens. And that's still my problem, actually. I still can't plot to save my life. I have to like get like my best friend and then all of my other friends to like just give me ideas for what can happen, because if it was left up to me, I would do like character like inner monologue for like 400 pages with like a bunch of like sky symbolism, and then that would be the entire book. With screenwriting really helped with that, because it teaches you about how to bring through like the bare bones of the story. I have this really good idea for like a scene where the character is standing in a meadow and there's like a deer, and it's like really like a metaphor, and then I have to build a story around that. So I had to figure out how to like bring that back and figure out like, you know, how to actually write stories that make sense and make people want to read them. Writing a novel was like really hard, because I have like the squirrel attention span where once I hit page 50, I'm like, oh no, we're done here. Like the story, like it should be over at this point. I should be on to like my third project after this. If it was up to me, it would just be like 20-page short stories about absolutely nothing, and that's what I would write for all my life. But that is not something that most people would read. So for physical beings, they should probably be doing something in this scene other than just talking and thinking. Like, oh yeah, okay.
But I want to touch back
Was queer. Like when I was writing, you know, my terrible like middle school novels, I was still like very much under the impression that I was heterosexual, and that I just like really liked Lara Croft Tomb Raider for no reason at all. And yeah, so I just had to. It was just like the sort of journey. Journey is like a weird word, but journey of like realizing that not only were my like, you know, feelings for girls real and legitimate, but also you know, that I wanted to write stories that felt truer to that. Like whenever I was writing like these really straight romances, like there was always a sort of thing missing where I was like kind of distant and 2 steps back. And so then obviously I realized later on, like, oh, the thing missing was that they're not about 2 girls. Reading like other lesbian romances really helped with that. Like the first lesbian book I ever read was Ash by Melinda Lowe, and that was the first one where I realized like, oh, this is like actually possible, that it does not have to be a girl and a boy like in Twilight. There can be other things too. And so at the time I still didn't even realize that I was queer yet. I just knew that for some reason this Ash by Melinda Lowe was making me feel like every single human emotion on the spectrum, and like this sense of like indescribable yearning. I just had no idea why. And so then I, you know, just grew up and realized I was queer and realized I wanted to write, you know, about girls. Big thing is I want to just have fantasy worlds populated by queer people in a way that they've always been populated by straight people. You know, have these stories that have queer heroines and queer romances, and without this sort of element of homophobia that would sometimes exist in a story like that. Not about at all like gatekeeping queer books. I think like a lot of the, you know, there's a lot of like discourse about like, oh, no more stories about queer suffering, but I think that like a lot of the stories about queer suffering we've gotten so far have been very like white and cis, and we need to you know, let everyone into the room before we start closing any sort of door. I value those stories a lot, but I do also like stories where there's just no homophobia, and it's a forbidden romance, but it has nothing to do with the fact that they're lesbians. It has to do with the fact that like, you know, one's a robot and there's like this whole like class war thing going on. It's impossible to categorize humans like that. And I'm saying this like as like a Harry Potter and like astrology gay, like, you know, as much as I love to say like I'm doing everything because I'm a Pisces, you can't actually categorize people like that. So it's great to see like more and more books being released every day, but there is still like a huge issue, and it's something that I'm very aware of as like a white queer, because a lot of the time I think white queers are sort of used as like diversity shields, like, oh, we're publishing this Own Voices queer story, so that's our diversity rep for the year or whatever. But of course, like I do not represent any sort of, you know, LGBT community. That's something that comes up in a lot of interviews. They're like, oh, your book has such great representation for the community. I'm like, not really. It's, you know, it's about like a couple of lesbians. That's kind of it. And then also I am not any sort of voice for anyone or anything other than like my specific story. To get to a point where, you know, people like me are not asked questions like that, because, you know, I don't want anyone to think that I'm more important than I am, or that I'm any sort of more representation than I am, and I don't think any reader should have to settle for representation that does not like really echo with them. So yeah, no, I think like I hope it just keeps getting better, and I want to do everything I can to lift up other people's voices, because I don't think mine really needs any more lifting.
Back from the signing, I wanted to do this angle because I actually set up Christmas lights on this bookshelf. They're really small, they're like fairy lights, but I really love them. And also they're different colors, you can kind of tell. Whereas like these lights are just white. But I really like the contrast, so I wanted to film in front of this. I think it was just amazing. It was a little bit rough at the beginning, only because apparently today it's Small Business Saturday. I had no idea. The entire store was filled. Most people were not there for the signing. They were there for like Small Business Saturday. So it was a lot of noise and a lot of people. So in the beginning, we couldn't really hear the authors, and they needed mics, and the mics weren't working, and it was a whole ordeal. But finally, after all of those things got worked out, it was an amazing event. Oh my god, I love Nina so much. Like, I already loved her so much just from reading her amazing book, but I just love her so much more now. She's just so amazing. I love her personality. Her bias is Namjoon, and she asked me what my bias is, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm so new to the fandom. She's like, oh, I remember those days. And she told me to tweet her who my bias was once I found out. Like, oh my god, she's the sweetest. I adore her. I told her how much I loved her book, and I'm so excited for book 2. And she said, well, I hope you like it. I'm so glad to hear that. I love her so much. I asked her what she listens to when she writes, and she said she cannot listen to music. She literally listens to like Arctic noises while writing, which is honestly like iconic. Like, I stand her so hard at this point. Criers 4 signed. Oh my god. I love her handwriting. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Apparently for the Guinevere deception, they were giving out prints, but they didn't give them out during the signing for some reason. So I got it today. It's really pretty. I wish I could have shown this off in the Guinevere Deception blog, but oh well, I'm showing it off now. Today they were actually dealing out their loyalty loots. So Mysterious Galaxy has this thing where if you buy books, if you have an account with them and you buy books, after you reach a certain amount, you get like $10 back or $20 back, however much you buy. The more you buy, the more like rewards you get back. So I actually got like a $10 rewards today. And they were also doing this deal because it was fall of this Friday, where if you bought a book during the store, you could get a book for free off of their cart. There was a lot of ARCs on that cart, and there was a couple finished copies. So I wasn't sure what book to get because I didn't recognize a lot of the books, and some of the ARCs were ARCs that were out, but I actually found an ARC that has not been released yet. It's 19 Love Songs by David Leviathan. This is coming out January 7, 2020. I was so excited when I found this. I didn't even know this was coming out. I love David Leviathan. Like, I've loved all of his books. So I'm really excited to just get like a random ARC that I did not expect to get. Like, this was really exciting. Obviously, like, you can't actually buy ARCs, so this isn't like, this doesn't really have monetary value, but it was just like a nice like little gift to it. And then with my loyalty card, I actually got The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So I did not do a vlog for the signing because I was exhausted from the night before, which was the Sabaa Tahir and Renee Audier signing, but basically, for that signing, I waited till the end. I was the very last person to get my book signed because the only way to get your book signed and get a ticket was to buy The Burning Shadow, and I still have not finished the Lux series, and it just seemed like such a weird thing for me to buy the second book in this series when I still didn't buy it. So I asked them, can I buy The Darkest Star instead and like still get a ticket? And they're like, no, you have to buy The Burning Shadow. And I was so sad, but so I didn't buy anything. It is signed by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So in the end, I still got The Darkest Star signed by Jennifer, even though I didn't like get it personalized, but it's fine. This book is so pretty, and it's basically the continuation of the Lux series, and it's Luke's point of view. Oh my god, like, I didn't even know that this was gonna be about Luke, and then during the signing she talked about Luke. I was like, oh my god, I loved Luke in the Lux series. Like, he's like the perfect person to get a spin-off. I'm so excited to finish the Lux series and read this, and I'm so happy I got a signed copy and an ARC. Like, all in all, like, pretty great event, pretty great day. Oh, they had food too. They had like a bunch of food for Small Business Saturday. Okay, they went all out today. That's all for the signing portion of this vlog. I did want to do a weekend vlog, and the weekend is not over. Tomorrow is Sunday, but I'm not sure if I want to do more reading. I'm gonna go read.